Hi, everybody. It's Jill here with Illuminating Women, and this is our Friday Lunch and Learn, where we encourage you to grab your lunch at noon, sit down, be with your sisters, and learn something new and exciting that can empower your life. Because that's what we do here. We believe through education and community that when women are educated, they're more empowered and they're encouraged. And when women are vibrating high and are excited, the world's a better place. Fully believe this. I'm excited to bring this lady back. So if you don't know Kelly McNelis, she is an author. She's a mom. She's just a mover and a shaker, passionate about women having their voices heard, their stories there. And she came up with a new program that she started to share with us at Girls Night Out, but unfortunately it was the night that RBG had died, and she just then took that time to comfort all of us. We were so sad, and we were just also grateful, and it was a beautiful evening that we got to share. And she didn't get a chance to share as much around having those hard conversations, because quite frankly, during a time that with the pandemic and an election and politics and so much going on, it is those conversations that are so important. We have holidays. Some of us are going to still get together with family. And how can we have some difficult conversations? You may have a situation at work as an employee or a business partner or something. When that's what my BA is in speech communications. And so when I saw her program, I saw what she was doing. I said, Kelly, everybody needs to have this. Everybody needs to go through this. And what you're going to teach us here is just going to wet our whistles. Yes, I got that right. Anyway, so without further ado, Kelly, I want to thank you again for being willing to come here and share again with us and teach us about those hard conversations. So thank you, Kelly, and welcome.
Oh, thanks, Jill. I appreciate you inviting me to do this. You've been one of my greatest supporters, and I love that we're colleagues. That's what women should be doing, right? We should be supporting one another, connecting with each other, and really uplifting each other and highlighting what each of us are doing. So thank you for everything you do. I'm so grateful for you as a person. As everybody knows, Jill is a rock star. So yeah, let's talk about hard conversations for sure. First, I want to let all of you know who I am. This is being recorded, and I really want to put myself out there and let you know that I'm just like you. I'm a mom of a blended family. I have 6 children, 3 of my own and 3 stepchildren, and their ages 20 to 26 now. So been through a lot as a mom. I am a survivor of incest abuse. So that's a big thing for me as well, because I wrote a book called Your Messy Brilliance, 7 Tools for the Perfectly Imperfect Woman, because I feel like I spent my whole life trying to get it right and trying to be the perfect woman. So of course I had to write the book to heal myself, because that's what we do. We create what we need to learn, for sure. And I have a website for women to share their stories. And this is the 10th year of it. 2011 is when I started it. So I'm doing a 10-year anniversary next year, which is a really big deal for me. I'm really excited about it. And anytime you want to go on my site at Women for One and share your story, maybe Darcy could put it in the chat. That would be awesome, womenforone.com, because I just am so just grateful for what it has done for me, because truth telling is at the core of what we do, sharing our truth and sharing our stories so other women don't feel as alone, they feel more connected. And that all connects to what I'm talking about today, which is how to have a hard conversation. And I would say any of you know right now, it's probably one of the hardest times in our history. I'm 52 of my life, where you can't have a talk about racism, the COVID, right? The coronavirus, right? Politics, picket. There's so many things we're having such a hard time about talking to others when they don't have the same opinion. And it's my belief, and I know it's Jill's belief too, we've talked about this a lot, that we cannot keep blaming others and we can't put each other down anymore. There's all these polarized belief systems, which is fine. Everybody's going to have their own story. Everybody's going to have their own belief system. You know, and we have to be able to communicate with each other. That's so important to me, as I know, Jill, it's important to you. And I think women are the leaders of this in our world. We're the nurturers, we're the caretakers, and we do this. We always encourage our children, our friends, like we want to communicate, right? But how do we have those skills? How do we gain the skills to do that? And that's why I created this Hard Conversations course that I have. And I want to share a little bit about it with you today. And I also want to give some tools today. So, you know, it's not that you just have to go buy a course. This is about some tools that I felt have helped me and a lot of women be able to communicate effectively in this world. And with situations not even about the bigger world issues. How about like when your best friend betrays you, or your partner and you have an issue? Because I don't know about you, but I've got lots of those, right? You know, when he's doing something, and or she's doing something, and you don't know how to communicate with them about what your needs are, and not a blaming, attacking way, right? So does anybody have any questions right now? Because that's where I'd like to start. I'd like to start with getting an awareness of how we communicate, because that's the most important thing to me. How do we individually communicate with others? And I have this tool that I want to share with you. So I'm going to share the screen, Jill. And I can't see, well, I can see a little bit of people when I do that, but not. And I'm going to put up the communication chart. Hold on, you're not going to see that. Hold on. There. Okay, so does everybody see it? Jill, nod.
Yes. Can you make your screen bigger?
You want to do view full screen?
Yep.
Hold on. I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
I'm on Zoom, like to page level? No.
No. Oh, well, there, where, okay.
Okay, so this is a communication chart. So let's go through this, because this is really cool to look through. So I want everybody to look at this communication chart. It's really important, because the value of a communication chart is to understand your default mode of communicating. And let's walk through this. Are you more passive? Are you more aggressive? Are you passive aggressive? With the goal being assertive. So you might go, what does that mean? So I'm going to give you examples. So, and it's different for each situation you're in, everyone. Like there's a situation where, you know, with your spouse or your partner compared to your boss or your children, you might be completely different, right? And you're a nurturer and caretaker. So passive would be, you know, I lose, you win. So basically, oh, whatever you want, right? That's the passive. The aggressive is like, I want my way, period. I'm getting my way. I win, you lose. The passive aggressive is probably the worst, because we both lose, because we get, you know, how someone ghosts you or freezes or doesn't speak to you anymore. That's the lack of communication. And that's probably my least favorite and the hardest to deal with. So I want all of us to be honest with ourselves and take a look at this, because our goal is to get to assertive, where we both win. We both state our needs, we both communicate, and then we can move forward. So this, I'm happy to send this to anybody that is interested. So you can email me, it's in the chat, kelly@womenforone.com, if you want this chart, because it's a really cool chart to look at for yourself. So I want everybody to just take a minute and read the purple. For the chart on the next page, consider the following situation. After getting into a big fight with your friend, you realize that you said some hurtful things. So I'm sure a lot of us have done that with a partner or a friend or a child. How do you resolve this issue? Okay, so take that in. Now we go to the communication chart. This is why I want to make it a little smaller, Jill, so everybody can see it. So, are you passive? Just to understand your communication type. Do you take all the blame and tell your friend you wouldn't blame them if they hated you forever? Okay, like if you feel sad, right? So that the characteristics of passive are, you have a hard time standing up for yourself. You don't like confrontation. And it's okay. Like, it's okay if you have that. I have that with many people in my life. I get nervous. Different people trigger different things for me. Then we got the passive aggressive. You're not good at apologies, so you ghost them, right? I talked about that. You send them funny memes on Twitter and pretend nothing happened. Like, you just pretend nothing happened. So you hold grudges, you don't want to talk about your feelings, and you really don't know how you feel in the moment. And that's okay, but just be aware that that is your communication type. I think it's really important to understand what your communication type is. So then we move on to aggressive. Excuse me. You're good at talking, but not so much at listening. So there's good about that, but also like you have to make space for the other person to listen and listen to what their feelings are. So aggressive would be you feel like a victim. You fume over how awful they were to you and maybe even tell them so. But of course, you're totally willing to make amends. That is, if they apologize first. So I'd love to, hear your hand raised or understand if any of you have dealt with some of this in the past. Do you relate to other people that are like this? And I need to look at everybody so I can see. Anybody have any comments? Excuse me.
So far, nothing in the comment box. I'll keep you posted.
Okay, great. And then we have assertive, which is the place where we all need to get. You look at politics right now and everybody's pointing fingers and blaming. You look at COVID and you've got people that won't wear masks and will and are mad and angry. Same with racism. It's just all over the place right now. So how do we as women move into a place where you can have your heart open, send them a heartfelt apology, acknowledge that things got out of hand, and suggest you sit down and figure out how to resolve it together. And assertive is my favorite because it's open. You don't take things personally because someone else has a story behind and a belief system behind where they're coming from. You know when to listen and when to talk. You make space for the conflict. It's okay. It's okay. It's not going to be in the world that you have conflict. And you're good at stating your own needs and listening to what others have to say. So I wanted to share that. And if anybody, just put your email in the chat and I will capture it by the end if you want this communication chart, because it's really helped me in my life. I was taught by a very dear friend and mentor how to communicate more effectively. And this tool right here changed my life. To understand, when you watch people and you're interacting, seeing like who's passive aggressive, who's aggressive, and not having a judgment about it, because I'm passive aggressive, I'm aggressive in all different kinds of situations. So I'm still working on it. And I think as women and as leaders and as people that are the nurturers in this world, we just have to have an awareness of how we communicate and who we are. So does anybody have any questions about this? Jill, what do you think? Do you any thoughts?
I think this is really important for so many reasons. And I'm really glad you brought this chart up. It makes me realize, if we are going to get together with family or you have somebody at the holiday dinner table, and especially when we're kind of into our families, people are working at home, we can get sometimes we don't have the what's the word I'm kind of looking for? Like we don't have the reserve to just let them be. We get more triggered, if that's the word. Yes. I guess I'm looking for. So, and taking some of that responsibility, because people are passionate about certain issues. And when they see others make comments, they want to clock it, they want to scream. And how do we, I'm sitting here taking notes because I'm loving having this awareness. And I love that you talked about having that open heart to resolve it together.
And if you can't, I'll give you an example. I wrote a blog last month, Jill, and it was about the fact that I posted my belief system, which, we all have our own belief system, right? And our own ideas on politics. And I posted on, and I'm not a big poster about that kind of stuff. I'm not one of those, come on my bandwagon. I believe everybody deserves to make their own choice. But I shared something that I thought was very articulate, and I got attacked, and a lot of people were very angry. And then a woman respectfully disagreed with me. And it was such a huge, it was so amazing. It was and I wrote, and I've known her. We were soccer moms years ago, and we're Facebook friends now. And I wrote, thank you so much for sharing your opinion on my page respectfully, because I will always make room, like at Women for One, for different opinions and different belief systems, because I believe that's the bridge to us coming together in this world. And I know you agree with that, Jill. Like, we've got to have everybody owning where they are, but respecting where other people are in a kind and open-hearted way to communicate. And if we don't, nothing's going to change. Nothing. So that's kind of where I am about this chart specifically. So now I'd like to move on, if that's okay, to the next handout that I have that I will completely share with all of you. Where is it? Here we go. About hard conversations. So this is just a 3-page. I'm trying to do like the view screen more. I'm sorry, Jill, I'm not good at this. How do you get it bigger?
You're on a Mac, so I can't necessarily.
I know, I'm like,
Darcy, yeah, it usually
Darcy doesn't have a Mac, so I'm like,
it's just usually a window that just makes it a lot bigger, so it takes the entire, but now.
Right. Yeah, I'm just like, yeah. Anyway, so hopefully everyone can see it, right?
Yeah.
So this is just a mini version of my toolkit that gives some tips and tricks regarding how to have a hard conversation. So we've already talked about the types, right? So we've got all kinds of types. It could be from, your mother to your partner to your boss to your kid, your friend. You have all those types. Then, what are the benefits you're experienced by having a hard conversation? And a lot of people are like, I don't want to deal with that. I've got too much going on in my life. I don't want to deal with it. And I'm like, well, okay, but it's going to give you a lot of self-esteem. It's going to give you communication skills. You're going to learn how to be assertive. You're going to not blame others. But really, the benefits, I believe, are you get better physical, emotional, and mental health because you're clear about where you are and you understand that it's not that they're making you bad. That's just how they feel, right? Instead of getting all messed up with the fact that people will judge you or be angry or not agree, so not like you. It's such a great place to be where you have a boundary and you're clear about where you are compared to where someone else is in a situation if you're disagreeing. The other thing, like I said, improved communication skills and understanding of how your honesty can lead others to have your back, even if they don't agree with you. I do that all the time. Like, if someone is respectful and on my site, which I have a lot of followers, if someone attacks someone, even if I don't agree with them, if they're being kind and respectful with their beliefs, I will defend them. And I think it's important we as women do that. We have other women's backs, even if we don't agree with them, if they're being vulnerable and sharing something, right? Because we just have to support one another. And the other thing is you can have more authentic relationships where everyone involved is given the space to relate to each other openly. Because, there's so much you can grow from with having those hard conversations. And I know I've grown a lot closer to my dearest friends and my family by being real. And I'm not trying to be Pollyanna here because here's the deal. There's lots of people, when you share your truth and you're real, they get angry with you. So, if that's a question for some people, because that's come up in a lot of workshops I've done, I say, look, you're speaking your truth. And if you have boundaries around it and you're respectful and kind, you just have to respect yourself. You don't have to go into saving them, caretaking them, or feeling bad because they're judging you, because it's all about you and you speaking from an assertive place. It's not about them. So I want to explain that it doesn't always happen pretty. Like, it's not pretty. It's not all butterflies here. It's, the other thing is you get an awareness. I don't know if any of you have felt this way, but I get an awareness of how I react during a hard conversation. My heart gets constricted, my shoulders get tight, and it's good to get aware of that so you can just relax a little bit. You become fearless and confident. You get clarity about who you are and what's important to you because you go, oh, that's their belief, this is mine, right? And you take responsibility for your own feelings. And I love the last one. It's like your opportunity to be seen as a badass leader, because that's really how you do these building blocks, right? About who you are by practicing having these hard conversations. So I just wanted to tell you some of the, and this is some of the things that are in the toolkit, because just this, even if you don't ever want to purchase it, this is not a selling thing. It's about understanding what is in it. So there's 3 phases, and I try to put them into these acronyms so people can remember them. You know, if you have to invite someone to a conversation, we call them the 3 I's before the conversation. You inquire, then you set your intention, and you really and then you invite them. So you do this invitation, like, I think we need to have a talk, right? And then during the conversation, I call it TLC. You speak your truth, you listen, and you really full circle complete it so it feels like an ending. And then you go, okay, after this conversation, which I think is kind of a funny thing, RIP, reflection, integration, and practice. So you want to integrate everything you learned, make conversations a regular part of maintaining your strength in the world. So that's something that this toolkit includes. And right there, just seeing those acronyms, it's really helpful, and it makes you feel confident when you're, terrified to speak to someone. Because, I know, like, I've had challenges with my mom and with dear friends, and I just took everything I learned and put it into this toolkit, because why would we want to ruin a relationship with a family member or a friend or a boss or anyone, a partner, because we didn't know how to communicate? Like, why not try? And I know most women are willing to try, and I know people that are in Jill's community definitely are committed to learning and growing. So that's this toolkit, Jill. I mean, this is what it is, and I'm happy to email both of these documents to any of your entire community, because I think it's really important that we all do this. And obviously I'll have a discount for your community, but I have another opportunity that I want to discuss briefly, because I believe in the power of the purse, as we talked about. And I got told by a friend and a mentor about a month ago, and she said, why don't you have the women in your community sell this course to their friends, their family, their businesses? So we created this affiliate program, and it's not like, I call it the Avon affiliate program, but it's not, because it's basically like, it's not a multi-level marketing. It's really just, you get $90 for every single course you sell until the end of December. And I have I have a lot of people signed up already, but I also, it's not about, it is about making money, because I want Women for One to continue. And right now it's a hard time for all of us. But I also think it's putting something out there in the world, to your community, to your businesses, to schools. We work with colleges, we work with high schools, to teach people effective communication skills so we can move through this world with more grace and more heart, and be able to connect more with one another. So if you're interested in that, feel free to email me as well. So that's really all I wanted to offer today. Anybody have any questions?
Well, so far there aren't, but I'll stop the recording here in a little bit, Kelly, and
Okay.
and then that way we can see everybody face to face and we can talk about this. And why I wanted you to come back and do this and talk about this, because it's such a win-win. We're all getting used to it. You go to Safeway, you go to Fred Meyer's, and you use their little rewards card, and you get, and I love the fact that you set it up so that if anybody, if you are involved in a community, a club, a business, whatever, to bring this forward, and it's a win-win, for you. But again, it comes down to communication. You talk to any counselor, marriage counselor, any kind of family conflict, it comes down to those communication skills. And I love the last page. And I took some more notes on this, and I'm glad that you didn't have to necessarily take notes, other than some things that you were saying, because Darcy's putting it in the chat that you can, go ahead and ask, and they'll get this sent to you. But I love that, having that awareness, our own personal awareness. How are we reacting, right? And getting clear, and allowing everybody that space for their belief systems. And because you know what, we're only one race, and it's the human race, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to get along. We have to get along with our neighbors, and we have to get along with each other, regardless of what's going on in the world. We have to be, if there was a disaster, and because I didn't agree with you politically, I sure I'm going to help you.
Yes.
And that's getting in there, that taking responsibility, standing for convictions, and fearless. Oh, I love that.
Well, like the Dalai Lama said, the Western woman's going to save the world, and this is how we can step up. and save, our society instead of this posturing, posturing. And I love men, but I'm just saying women have this innate ability to communicate more effectively, to be more open-hearted. And so why not even up our game to have tools and skills to improve that? And teach our young children as well, and our college students. Like, that's so important to me.
Yeah. And I know you're going to go through in the class that getting better on communicating, clarifications, making certain you are heard, and how do you do that to mirror back some of those things?
Yeah.
Because I got to take a look at the course, and I was blown away when I saw your course. That's my 4-year college degree out of Western Washington University. And I thought, this is packaged beautifully, and we all can learn. I'm all working on that. So I'm going to stop this recording so that we can talk and get more. I want to thank you, Kelly, and
Thank you.
Women for One. And if anybody went to www.womenforone, they would be able to find this information there too.
Yep, absolutely. And we have it all in the chat, but yeah, the affiliate program and the hard conversations, everything is there.
Everything is there. All right. Well, we're going to stick around and ask you some questions, and we'll have our girl time chat, our girlfriend chat time. And I want to thank you again, Kelly, and keep on keeping those communication skills going, because you will feel better and our world will be a better place. And we women, this is an awesome opportunity for our women empowered to rise in a time of darkness, bringing light. And that's what we do here in Illuminating Women. All right. Thank you, Kelly. And thank you.
Thank you, Jill.